So I've heard this convention described as a non-stop multi-day nerdy party. I've also heard it described as a cult. I think both describe it well. Hey, it's Jess, and I'm back once again dressing up as Dreams SMP out in public because apparently people like watching me be cringe, so who am I to deny the people what they want? However, this time is the most wild convention I've ever been to, and that is the renowned Dragon Con. If you're on TikTok, you've probably seen a lot of cosplayers talking about it. Dragon Con is a huge convention that takes place in the heart of downtown Atlanta, over 5 different hotels. And it's renowned for being essentially the biggest party convention that there is. Now, normally I stick to conventions in Florida. However, this time my roommate was already going to Dragon Con to play with their band Raspberry Pi, which we've seen on the channel before. So me and my other roommate Sparks decided to road trip along with them down to Dragon Con. Wait, up, not down. Georgia's up.
Oh my god, it's Lovejoy, everyone! The closest we're ever going to get to seeing Lovejoy.
And I was pretty excited because this was going to be my first time attending a convention for multiple days. Normally I just go to the convention for one day, and then I swear to god by the time that I actually look around at all, it's already time to leave. We didn't get a chance to go to any of the panels, and if I do meet someone, it's normally, hi, sorry, gotta keep going. And especially with this convention, there would be no way you would see any of it in one day. And Atlanta is a super cool city, and it was cool being able to explore it a little bit, even if it was a little awkward being on the subway in cosplay. For this convention, I made a pretty quick cosplay of time-traveling Karl, as well as my Technoblade cosplay.
Can you see my glasses fogging up from the sweat? I thought it was going to be cool in Georgia. Why did we leave Florida? My one common theme of every video is just complaining about the weather, and I'm fine with that.
This isn't helping. And backed by popular demand from my last video and from Sparks themselves, we brought little Scar along for our journey.
Why is Scar always so cinematic?
Dramatically looking out the window.
Oh, it's Georgia. It's Georgia. We're in Georgia. I see no peach trees here.
It was so cool first arriving at the convention because before we even got to any one of the hotels, we were just met with blocks and blocks of cosplayers. And then when you finally do get to one of the hotels, they're just insane. Now, the main and iconic hotel is the Marriott Marquis. And oh my god, the footage does not show just the scale of it. It looks so trippy that this is actually what they used to inspire the TVA in the Loki series. Now, so far, all I've described is it's just a convention with a lot of people. That's just every single convention. What really makes this one different is that it is a non-stop party. With other conventions, at least other conventions I've seen, they normally close in the afternoon. Maybe there'll be an after-hours party, but that's about it. But with Dragon Con, from the moment the convention starts, all 5 of these hotels are all filled and flooded with thousands of cosplayers with loud blaring music and lights and the whole thing, the whole night through. Think ginormous Halloween party, but everyone went try hard making the most nerdy, insane costumes possible. Like, if you get a room in this hotel, you are not sleeping because there will be music blaring the entire night.
I don't think that they're being very quiet with the 30,000 people down in the lobby.
And it isn't just people hanging about. There are events and panels and music and performances.
Science curriculum is not keeping up with muggles, so we're gonna do better. This is the fundus of the dog's eyeball, which of course you'll be familiar with after that accident was serious. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna be really upset when I find out what fund I actually am.
And while Dragon Con itself isn't necessarily only 18+, once the sun goes down though, that's when people start treating it more like a music festival where you go and you get under some sort of influence and you just party. Now, personally, I'm not someone who's ever really been into the party scene. The only time that I went to a nightclub in college, I was just annoyed that it cut into my Dungeons and Dragons session. Like, my channel is about making Dream SMP crafts. Obviously, I'm not in the party scene. However, these parties are also extremely nerdy themed. They had an event called The Last Party on Alderaan, which was a huge Star Wars themed party, which looked like a rave, but just everyone had lightsabers. Although since this convention was non-stop, they also had a lot of rooms for people to chill. They had rooms where you could just go and watch anime whenever you wanted. 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. werewolf games. They also had late night adult origami, which was 18 plus. I don't want to know what they were making. Now, from all this, you can kind of guess that the age demographic for this con leans towards the older side, and not just like young party people, like a lot of people in their 40s and 50s just coming out, and this is where they let loose once a year. But you can also guess that this age demographic isn't really the one of the Dream SMP. We're already noticing with this con. At the other ones we went to, it's pretty easy to find other Dream SMP cosplayers, but this one, it might not be the right age demographic at all. Maybe it could do something with the fact that it's a lot less kids here. Are we the ones not cool? Are we the bad guys? Are we See, this is exactly the point. We only saw like a handful of other MCYT cosplayers. Yes! It was funny, in one of the events someone asked like, oh, who are you cosplaying as? Kind of embarrassingly, I was like, oh, someone from the Dream SMP. And they just immediately went, oh. I see how it is. So that's the general reaction I got for Karl.
Sorry, we're trying to watch Rambo's haircut reveal.
But even with that being said, when I was wearing my techno cosplay, a good amount of people still got very hyped and excited. Honestly, it still feels so sweet to have people excited and cherishing Technoblade's character. Now, I think it would be impossible for me to talk about Dragon Con without bringing up the cult of Dragon Con. That's not me putting a label on it, that is what they call themselves. This convention has a very strong following, and over the years, they have created several traditions that they follow. The first and biggest of which is based on a carpet. In the main hotel, the Marquee, there was this very iconic carpet pattern. And these people loved Dragon Con so much that they started cosplaying as the carpet. There'd be shirts, dresses, entire costumes with this specific pattern on it. Like, imagine making an entire costume that you can only ever wear to one convention. And ironically enough, the carpet was replaced, but I have no doubt that this pattern will still stick around for years and years of this convention to come. I think what really shows people's love for this convention is that they literally have a ticket option that is $4,000 and it will get you into the convention for the rest of its life. The next biggest tradition are badge ribbons. What people do is that they stick these ribbons on the bottom of their badge. People will collect and trade and make these ribbons to give away to other people.
I got my first Dragon Con ribbons for the Owl House because the lady in front of me on the escalator, she was dressed up as my cool Aunt Lilith. So she gave me the Emperor's Coven ribbon, and then she said that my girlfriend says hi, my little sweet potato.
I'm a sweet potato. Oh, that's so adorable.
And you can tell that people have been going to this convention for like 18 years by how many ribbons that they have folded onto their one badge. Also, a tradition is every year they will have a run of the inflatable dinosaurs. There was someone that was so into it, they had an inflatable dinosaur with the pattern of the carpet on there. That's just so specific. Like MegaCon, I've been to that convention for 3 years. I can't think of a single thing that could ever amount to some of these traditions. As much as I would love to be that this was the ultimate con experience ever, there was definitely some pros and cons. The cons of the con, if you will. For one, it's just so many people. it takes forever to move anywhere because there's just so many people trying to go different places. We spent a good amount of time just waiting in lines to go down the escalators between floors of the hotel.
When do we get to the ride?
This is the ride!
Not to mention, it was also hard to even get to the convention itself if you weren't in one of the hotels or a hotel nearby. I was the one driving in Atlanta and I absolutely hated it. And just out of curiosity, I was trying to look up hotels for next year and all the main hotels are already sold out. So good luck even trying to get a hotel nearby. And this convention being over 5 hotels, it was so spread out that 1, it took forever to walk between all of them, and 2, you just missed a lot of stuff because you just didn't know it was there. Like most conventions, I feel like it's centralized around the vendor hall. This time we didn't even know that there was a vendor hall until one of the last days. And we went to go and try to check it out. The line to get into the vendor hall alone wrapped around the building 3 times. So I don't even want to imagine what it was like if we actually ever did get in there. So we didn't even get a chance to see it. It was hard to find food anywhere, whether it was inside or outside the convention, just because everywhere was just full. We did find a restaurant called Gus's World Famous Fried Chicken that ended up just becoming a meme between me and Sparks by the end.
The Comic Sans here. Hello, Scar.
Hey, do you think we're at Gus's Fried Chicken?
I don't know, but if you haven't eaten at Gus's, you haven't eaten fried chicken yet. This video is sponsored.
There's a deer over there.
And you have to walk between all these hotels, so if it rains at all, there's just no way to avoid it.
Are you still having a good time? What about with Scar? Okay. I no longer want to be running up this hill.
Alright.
Which unfortunately we ran into this issue when we went to go see the McElroy Brothers. Who are we gonna go see? Gonna go see the boys, the McElroys. I've never talked about them before, but I'm really hoping that there's a lot of overlap with my viewership and the McElroy Brother fans. Like if it's a Venn diagram, I want it to be a circle. But in case you don't know who they are, they have comedy podcasts, My Brother and Me, The Adventure Zone, Justin, Griffin, and Travis. They're some of their all-time favorite content creators, and they were who we were most excited about seeing at this convention. Unfortunately, we also didn't realize how much everyone else wanted to see them. They were doing one last big event panel at the end, and we decided that no matter what, we are going to that panel. So we ended up going 2 hours early to get in line for the panel. The problem was, it was outside. It was fine, that was a long line, we were ready to wait, but then we got absolutely poured on and drenched. And while we were trying to make the best of it, getting rained on in full cosplay is just a miserable experience.
Do you want to milk my sleeve?
As much as I like to complain, it's no one's fault that the line had to be outside. It's just that what they had to do to not block anything. And while the waiting was miserable, I will say the payoff was definitely worth it.
Please bring out a whole bunch of McElroys!
It being a super special performance with most of their family there, of having some of their wives, some of their dad, and it ended up becoming just one of the best shows I've ever seen from them.
I thought you were gonna say that you saw the Joker vaping outside.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool too.
I've seen it 3 or 4 times, but y'all, when it hits every time.
Next time one of us says we don't have anything funny to say, you should listen.
We even got to see a Jackbox game using their professional level improv skills.
So there's definitely a lot of negatives that we had during this convention, but also a lot of that was probably because it was our first time and we just didn't know. We didn't know to bring a change of clothes in case we got rained on. We didn't know before the convention that the app had the entire schedule on it, so we could have been planning beforehand so we wouldn't run into missing everything. And a lot of the issues I have with it, you just can't avoid with having such a big convention.
And definitely one of the highlights that outweighed the negatives was being able to see my roommate and her bandmates being able to close out the convention and give the best performance I've ever seen from them.
And seeing a whole room of just nerdy people just dancing and having a fantastic time really just reminded me that that's what the convention is about. about. Coming together and celebrating fandom and craftsmanship and having a fun time while you do it. So now I definitely understand why this convention has such a cult following, and probably going to try and go again next year, assuming that we can find a hotel. Also, since it is my roommate and my friends, I do feel like I have an obligation to promote their band a little bit and let you know that they just released a new single on Spotify called Star Sign, and honestly, I've been playing a lot of their music throughout this video, so if you like it, please go check it out. Thank you if you've made it to this point. My scuffed setup is failing me. Just stay, it's not staying. Thank you if you've made it this far in the video. I know this has been 2 vlogs right after one another, but I've been kind of busy and that's just the way that the upload schedule has gone. I'm planning on making more crafting videos next that I'm super excited about, so if you don't want to miss that, please consider subscribing and I'll see y'all in the next ones. Bye!